Gorgeous. All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for coming live or tuning into the replay. I am Heather Graham Murphy, embodiment coach and breathwork facilitator. And I am so excited to teach you guys this because I have been practicing manifestation for like 17 years. And I've been working as an embodiment coach and doing other things with coaching and stuff, but I haven't really focused on manifestation. And then just recently, I felt really called to talk more about manifestation, and had to like move through some fear around that and stuff. So I'll be talking about all the things like my journey and how like hopefully you can relate and we can work together to help you get manifestations that you've been trying to call in. So let me get this. There we go. Okay, so you are in the right place if you're either new to manifestation and you want to learn, or if you've tried many manifestation tools, but they haven't been working for you as well as you'd like. Don't mind me, I have my little one here. What's that? Okay, go figure it out. So yeah, I wrote like, where's my $1 million check? I think like a lot of people probably saw The Secret back in the day and or maybe recently, I don't know, or maybe you've been like learning about manifestation from TikTok, who knows? But I think a lot of people have like an idea that it should just be like this like overnight success magic thing. And it can be for sure, it can feel that way sometimes, but it's not that simple. Um, and so I'm here to tell you like one of the biggest things that I've learned today, which is like the embodiment part. And of course, I'll go into that soon, but you're also in the right place of like you have a job that's out of alignment. If you're an exhausted stay-at-home mom and you've been wanting to like feel more fulfilled and you want more in your life, if you've been struggling to attract money or make money, um, if you've been struggling with hard times, like maybe you've been in survival mode and you're just like at that base level where you're like, I just need a break, you know? And so you've been like really curious about using manifestation to help you get you out of survival mode so you can start thriving and feeling more abundant and safe and secure. If you struggle to stay high vibe consistently and you worry that it's messing up your manifestations, well, I think a lot of people sometimes feel this way, who struggle with anxiety and depression. That was me for a long time. You know, I'd do really well with manifestation, and then like something would happen in um, my uh, mood and everything. I wouldn't be high vibes. So I'd be like worried because that is the old manifestation rhetoric of like, be in a good mood, just stay happy. And like, I love Abraham Hicks so much, but and I listen to her all the time. She definitely was like my gateway drug. But um, you know, I think there's so much more to manifestation that needs to allow us to like allow for like all the humanness and the difficulties that we struggle with. So um yeah, and if you feel like you're someone that has like unresolved issues or something, and it's you feel like that's keeping you from manifesting, you know, if there's like certain traumas, that's definitely something that I am learning, or I continue to learn about as a student of psychology and working through traumas that can really keep us from manifesting healthy relationships as well as the abundance and safety that we desire. So the benefits of like what you'll learn today is that there's this secret that no one seems, not no one, but there's very few manifestation teachers that seem to be talking about, which is embodiment. And so I'm going to be talking primarily about embodiment and what that really is and what that looks like and how that relates to manifestation. And so this is not for you if you think that manifestation is stupid. I don't know why. If you think manifestation is stupid or too woo-woo or spiritual, um, then maybe this workshop isn't for you. But what I will say about manifestation is that we're doing it all the time, is that we are energetic beings and we're always attracting um, our reality to us. And there's a lot of different scientific information around this too, about like what we perceive and how our mirror neurons create like our sense of belief systems and all this stuff that goes way deeper, like if you choose to work with me. Um, And of course, this is not for you if you're open-minded or curious about like understanding the world in different ways. If you don't want to deal with any of your like stuff, if you just are like, I don't want to open that door, that's totally fine and valid. I think that, working with therapists can be a better way to go sometimes if you have really deep unresolved issues. If you want a quick one-time solution, that's not how manifestation works. I mean, it definitely can sometimes, but there's so many other elements that I'll be getting into today that have to be in motion for you to have that like one-time solution. It feels like it's a one-time solution, but it actually isn't. You have been having all these things in motion to get to that, overnight success or whatever. Um, and this is not for you if you hate when there's an invitation at the workshop. I will be giving you an invitation and I will let you know before I provide that invitation in case you choose to leave the workshop. That's totally fine. I'm going to provide you with some valuable content, and at the end, I will let you know what the offer is. And I'm really excited for that because it's going to be a rare one and really accessible too. So, manifestation, oh, one of my pictures is missing. Manifestation has changed my life. I went from like a homeless kid in 2006 to like owning properties and traveling and manifesting my husband. And there's me and my dad. And like we used to have such a difficult relationship. And it has improved immensely because of this embodiment work that I have been doing to create the life that I desire. And so, yeah, a little bit of my backstory. Like I said, in 2006, I was like a homeless 21-year-old. I had no job. I was dealing with addiction. I suffered from extreme anxiety and depression, which, by the way, I struggled with anxiety and depression since I was 9 years old. So it has been like a tumultuous, like up and down. In 2006, I moved to San Diego. And of course, I learned about manifestation in San Diego, which, if anybody knows anything about San Diego, you know that that is the place of woo. And of course, I met someone, and they showed me the secret. And from there, it was like, oh, so I like made a dream board, and I got my dream job as a production assistant. I started going to college. I got free housing while I was in college, and my mental health improved immensely. And so, like, life was going along. And in 2013, I was like totally ready for an up level, and like broke up with my long-term boyfriend and moved to Bend, Oregon. And it was crazy, like how much my life changed. And I met my husband, my now husband, and I was manifesting. Like my money situation went from like I was like barely able to like buy a snack from the store or something to like I was eating at like restaurants where it was like $200 for the check or whatever. And um, my self-confidence and having fun, that was a huge thing in my relationship, was like I wanted to have more fun in my relationship, travel, I think I said. And eventually, of course, we had our daughter and having a family life. I also manifested being a stay-at-home mom, which was something that I wasn't ever sure I would ever be able to do. Like no woman in my family has ever been able to do that. And then, yeah, in 2018, I moved back to California with my husband, my family, and everything. And I decided to go back and finish my college degree and manifested more traveling, went to Costa Rica and Mexico. Um, and yeah, and so like I started to put it together over time that there's this secret to the secret, which is embodiment. So I've just like manifested even more like property and money and like abundance and all the things. And so, I just wanted to share that I've taken the long way. Um, I've been through all this stuff to like come here now and feel ready to share my knowledge. I think for a long time I was like, oh, I can't really teach on manifestation. I'm not an expert per se, but I can definitely feel like, yeah, I really understand the energetics of manifestation now and like how it works. And so, yeah, I just want to say, like all those like bullet points that I was sharing, there were like bumps and stuff like where my mental health went back down. And then I was like, oh yeah, so that's where I started to figure out like I had to go through all the like ups and downs to figure out like how does this manifestation thing work exactly. Um, and I thought I was always doing it wrong. Like every time I had a downward spiral, it was like, no, I was like, oh God, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I try to figure out. So I'd like tried every single manifestation tool and tip. And there were things that worked and definitely didn't work. And yeah, I've been practicing manifestation for about 17 years now. So, and then over the last few years, I've just really been focusing on this one main thing that, like I said, I feel like a lot of manifestation teachers are not really talking about. And so this is embodiment. This is the secret to the secret. And we we have stuff that we hold in our body. And so when we want to manifest something, we have to include our body in the process. A lot of times we talk about like mindset and personal development, and then there's all these like actions that you can take, like scripting or crystals and all those things. But that's just one part of it. A lot of people don't think about like how our body can be blocking us from our manifestations. Um, yeah, I've spent the last few years, I've invested a lot of money into embodiment practice, like learning and becoming certified in embodiment practices. And it has changed my life overall. Like my mental health is not a problem anymore. My relationship is like the love, to feel deep love is like insane to me. And, my money, my health, everything has been just wonderful, you know? And so, as of today, I've mastered manifesting money. Like when I want it, I'm just like, I see opportunities everywhere and they just like come to me easily. And, like I said, manifesting homes and properties, definitely huge into real estate. And of course, like I said, my husband, my daughter, being able to be a stay-at-home mom and trips and little things like massages and gifts. It's like, I feel like my life is just magical. So, and this has been through embodiment. Um, so yeah, my life really started when I learned these embodiment practices. Like I said, my anxiety and depression aren't a problem anymore. I love myself deeply, truly. This isn't just like that egoic love where I'm just like, oh, I'm great. Like da da da. This is like, I can't even describe it. And this is like what I'm going to get into today when I get into the lesson part, is like the energetics of how you feel viscerally in your body when you feel like it is like warm house. It is, I don't know, it's undescribable. And yeah, just like being the mom that I want to be, like not yelling and screaming at my kid all the time, and letting myself be loved and loving my partner in return. And so, yeah, like I said here, you can, you know, I'm not like anyone special. I didn't like come from a family of privilege, or like I really didn't consider myself lucky. In fact, I felt like I was a pretty negative person for a long time. And yeah, I just want to encourage you, to let you know that like I'm just a regular person too, and I've just been practicing these things, and that's all that you need to do too, is just like practice embodiment and get better at it, and you will become a master manifester. And for some reason, my slide won't go. There we go. Okay, so what is embodiment exactly? And I feel like when I talk about embodiment with my other embodiment coaches, it's almost difficult for us to put embodiment into words, but it's essentially that knowledge that goes beyond the mind. It is like a full on knowing. So think about something that you relate to in your sense of identity. I'll take the example of like when I went from being like a homeless kid, um, in Seattle to like I moved to San Diego, like I had to let go of the embodiment of being a homeless, jobless kid. Like there was a knowing in my body, like a sense of identity. It's deep inside and it's visceral, where you just like there's certain standards that we have, and there's certain knowing that we have. It's wisdom essentially. It's a beingness. And so like when we want to grow a business and you're like, I want $1 million a year business, it's it's an embodied feeling that you must like get in your body in order to manifest that so that you become the magnetic attraction to for that. And so this is what I want to teach about today is like what is embodiment, like I just described, but essentially you have to have these three things in motion to become an embodied person and manifest what you desire. So we have to balance the energetics. So energetics are our spirit, our mind, and our body. Now, a lot of manifestation either focuses on like spirit and mind or one or the other. And like I said, it's so important that we include the body in our manifestation practice and balancing these energetics. So spirit is you know, our well, let me actually go to the next slide. It's right here. So that's connecting with our intuition, with source, universe, God, whatever you want to call it. Talking to our spirit guides. It is all that super woo-woo stuff, whatever that is for you. That's so individualized. There's nothing that I personally would say like you have to do this or whatever. This is your journey. Like if you choose to end up working with me, then it would be something where we would curate what feels truthful for you because authenticity is so important to me. And so then we go to the mind and like a lot of personal development and manifestation work really focuses on reprogramming the subconscious mind. And that is beautiful. And it really took me a long way when I started reprogramming my subconscious mind. It really did help. It changed my sense of identity quite a bit. And it does actually because of the way that our nervous system works with the brain. It does actually have an effect on your body, but not to the degree that it does when you do the embodiment work. So the embodiment work is regulating your nervous system and practicing visceral intelligence. And there are specific tools that I use that are related to like somatic therapy to help you get into that embodied state of your desire. And so the three elements that I use in my work that I do with people is loving your light, loving your darkness, and loving action. And so, loving your light is really about, being your most authentic self. This is so important when it comes to manifestation. I think a lot of us are living out of alignment. We're often in people pleasing mode. We often feel too scared to be the fullest expression or live in our truth. And then, of course, this also means like doing the embodiment work, um, embodiment in the sense of just like being that expression, right? Like how you dress, how you speak, how you feel. And that's where the visceral intelligence comes in. And by the way, for each one, three of these, visceral intelligence is the overarching theme always because embodiment requires you to have visceral intelligence to understand and feel the energetics within your body. So, loving your darkness. Now, a lot of people are afraid of their negative or dark feelings in manifestation, right? Because in traditional manifestation practices, we have been taught that we need to be positive and kind of like push down any negative feelings or just be like, even with like other people, if other people are being negative, just being like, well, that's their problem or whatever. And it is good to do like some cord cutting with people sometimes. But the important thing is that we heal our relationship with our darkness and that we, of course, like regulate the nervous system. We do parts work, which if you haven't heard of internal family systems, that's a big part of the work that I do with people within that embodiment um, work. So we work through limiting beliefs and we integrate with feelings of shame. So integration is a huge aspect of loving your darkness. And that means that essentially when you feel shame or embarrassment about something, when you actually integrate with it, you don't feel shame or embarrassment about that part of yourself because that's just a part of who you are. And this can be difficult for people to conceptualize. And this is why the embodiment part is so important because we have to actually take it out of where we hold it in the body. And so the other part is loving action. And so this is following your intuition. Part of practicing visceral intelligence and embodiment work is feeling in your body like, where is it a yes? Where is it a no for me? What signals am I getting from spirit to take this action in the aligned or in the 3D world? And so when we keep this all in motion with the mind, body, spirit, and we keep our cycle going with loving our light, loving our darkness with aligned action, we become a magnet for what it is we desire. And so, what it's like when I'm in session with somebody is it's very much about dropping in. We're always dropping into the body, and then we're feeling around in the places where your light lives, and we're feeling around for the darkness, and we're learning to hold space for ourselves, and we're learning to love ourselves deeper. If you don't know, I'm the host of For the Love of Self podcast, and that is the biggest theme there is that self-love is one of the biggest keys along with embodiment. Self-love and embodiment is where it's at when it comes to manifestation. You don't need to spend hours like cleaning your crystals and scripting, and you can do all that stuff too if that feels good and authentic for you. But doing manifestation practices that feel like a chore for you, that are not getting you your manifestations, it might be that they're not coming through because they feel like a chore for you, because you're not doing that deeper inner work that's going to allow you to have the breakthroughs that you want. That's literally like the gatekeeper to the manifestations that you're calling in. um and yeah, so that's essentially where it's at. Is it's like it's really about regulating the nervous system. And we do this through breath work. We do this through somatic therapy practices. So, shaking and screaming. So, it's breath, sound, and movement essentially. So, yeah, there will be some yelling if needed, and various other like vagus nerve stimulation practices and whatnot, and really focusing on the body part to complete that cycle. Um, I didn't mention this earlier, but basically, like I mentioned, I'm a certified embodiment coach, so I really understand the embodiment side. But I'm also a certified hypnotherapist. So of course, I want to focus on that mind part, the uh, the subconscious reprogramming that has to happen. There are deep subconscious beliefs that can block us um, from our manifestations. And when we have the realization of what those blocks are through the subconscious reprogramming work, then we can integrate it into the body part and let the body understand the truth of that subconscious belief and help clear it out of the system. So I've been working a little bit backwards, but I want you to think about it like this. So we as human beings have our five senses, and we go throughout the world and we experience the world through these five senses. And then the information goes into our brain, and we have um, different wiring that helps us perceive what that means, what we should do about it, um, et cetera, et cetera. And then that information goes down our spinal cord into our entire nervous system, into our body. So think about it that way: world, brain, body. So in my practice, we reverse engineer that. We start with the body, and then we bring it into the brain, and then it goes out into the world. We embody a different state of being when we start with the body. So body, brain, embodiment. And that is how we go through the world and start attracting, because who you are being, it shows who you are being is how you be the magnet for what you desire. You have to be the match, right? Those are basic manifestation things. And By the way, if anyone is wondering about some of those like more basic manifestation laws, then please let me know because I could definitely do another workshop on like the very bare bones basics of manifestation. You know, the secret says like ask uh what am I trying to say? Ask, believe, and receive. That's right. So those are like really basic things. That's just like the bare bones. So and those are all great. So like I said, in my work, there's you don't have to do like the vision board unless you want to. You don't have to do crystals if you don't unless you want to, and all this stuff is really about getting deep within yourself. So I hope that you guys have a better understanding of why your manifestations might have not been coming through in the past and how you can begin practicing balancing the energetics of your beingness through spirit, mind, and body, and using my method here, the embodied forces method. I should have put that there. This is my embodied forces method. Love your light, love your darkness, and loving action. And those three things, um, when you keep all of that in motion like a wheel, you're going to really start attracting what you desire. And so I'm going to get into, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, and then I'm going to get into what the offer is for today. Oops. Give me a second here while I close out this. Yeah, and so you know, maybe you've been feeling super frustrated with your life in some way. I know that like I have been there. I feel like my life used to be so crazy. Even when I met my husband, like we went through crazy stuff together and like grew so much together. You know, it could be just that you are bored of your life, but it could be that you're dealing with like a lot of pain and emotional pain or just like being in survival mode. Or maybe you've just like seen a lot of buzz about manifestation and you're really curious about it. Um, and maybe you're brand new to it, which, like I said, by the way, if you're brand new to manifestation and you're like, what is she even talking about? Maybe I need to also do like a bare bones basic manifestation 101 course. Um, yeah. So with that, you know, I've just really learned how embodiment has transformed my life. And I just feel so excited to share it with you guys. And basically, today, what I'm offering is that I'm offering 16 weeks of embodiment coaching for manifestation with me. I'm looking for 4 people that can fill the slots and it'd be 16 weeks of embodiment work. And we would meet every other week 1-to-1. And so we would be doing breath work, somatic practices, and sound work as well. And every week when we would meet, we would just approach whatever needed to be dealt with in that week. But also, I'm going to have a portal in which I'll be creating specific hypnosis. Hypnosis. I don't know what the plural of that is. You know, hypnotherapy recordings for you. Um, so that you can listen to those throughout the week. And I think I said, so we'd be meeting every other week. And originally I was going to do this every week for 8 weeks. But what I have learned about embodiment is that it doesn't happen like that. It can, but sometimes we really need time to really feel it, right? So like sometimes, and maybe you've invested in coaching before or gone through some sort of group program where like it's really fast and then you're just like, whoo, like what was that? And it takes then like afterwards you're kind of like, should I like go back to the recordings? Like you don't feel like it's like fully integrated and there's that embodiment knowing, you know? And so like I've decided to spread this program out and just make it 16 weeks where we meet every other week where you can like fully integrate and go through life and experience and get feedback based on what you've been integrating and embodying. And so yeah, basically there's that, and then, of course, she would have texting access to me as well throughout the week, like Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 kind of a thing, um, so we can stay in touch, and, the reason that I'm doing this is because so much of my work has been about, like in the past, for those of you that don't know, I have, worked with people primarily around anxiety and depression anxiety and depression. I've also worked with people, who struggle with food and body dysmorphia. And so, yeah, like coming into manifestation, I really would like to work with just a few individuals so that we can really hone this in together, rather than doing a group program. So, like I said, there's only going to be 4 spots available. So I imagine they're going to fill up pretty fast, and it's an incredible point because these are case studies. So case studies are where what I would ask in return from you is that we do a before and after video, that we're really documenting what's happening for you, and that with your permission, you would allow me to share some of that case study information, to help people learn more of this embodiment work and see what the results are from doing the embodiment work. So you're kind of like, I'm like a researcher, and you're my what's the word? I'm having a mom brain moment, but you're basically my participant in my study. And so I'm keeping the price point for this super low, and it's $222 for 16 weeks, which is crazy low for one-to-one coaching. Um, and typically, I charge over $100 for one-to-one coaching per session. So the reason I'm keeping this low again is because this is a case study, and so I'm offering it as being trying to be fair about like what you're also contributing to this work, and putting it out in the world, because to me I feel like if we can work together to bring embodiment to more people, not only will their mental health improve, which is huge, like part of my mission as a coach is to be an advocate for those struggling with mental health, and embodiment practices have been the key to improving my mental health. But not only that, it has helped me to manifest my greatest desires in a life that I truly love. So there's an exchange there for me where I would appreciate some feedback, essentially, where we're going to see like, how is this embodiment work working for you? It worked for me. Is it working for you? And then if it doesn't work, then it's a flop. I don't know. No, I know it will. I have been working with people doing the same practices with their anxiety and food and body work, and I've seen amazing results with people. So yeah, if you feel called to, let's see, I see there's something in the chat. Oh, thank you for the happy birthday. Yes, today is my birthday. That was like way earlier in the call. Thank you so much. Um, so yeah, I just want to make sure that I've covered anything and everything about this offer and what it is. Um, I think I think that's everything for today. I know there's only one person on the live call. I don't know if you have any questions while you're here about embodiment, or any of the content from today. I'd be happy to answer them. Or if you have questions about the program, you can either unmute yourself or you can type it in the chat. Okay. Well, I think that's about everything today. I hope that you really got something out of learning about embodiment tools, and definitely feel free to come over to the podcast, which is For the Love of Self podcast. Um, and let's see, I want to learn this about the physical. Yeah, can you expand on that a little bit? So, is the physical normal?
No, I just, when you said there's gonna be some, screaming and this and that, And it's like,
Oh, thank
that's
you so much
out
for,
of my,
yeah.
is that normal to be? It's out of my comfort zone. Is that pretty normal?
Thank you so much for asking that question. Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is so good that you asked this because, yes, oh my gosh, I feel like so many of us women have like resentment that we've been holding in our bodies. And so, yes, some screaming into a pillow can be uncomfortable. And so, I'm a trauma informed breathwork facilitator, and a big part of the work that I do is being aware of where the client is at. So I definitely would never make anyone do anything ever that made them feel uncomfortable. I would provide alternatives. So sometimes, let's say, when I was talking about some screaming and stuff, like one thing that you can do instead is you can put your hands against the wall and push against the wall as hard as you can. And sometimes you might find that noises do come out, like grunting or yelling. So the reason that we do this is because women in particular do have a lot of pent up um, anger and aggression that we might feel like, I'm not angry, I'm not aggressive. That's not like, that makes me uncomfortable. And that is perfectly normal because so much of our society has said like, be a lady, be polite, you know, don't be a whatever, a bitch or whatever. And so it's important for me that one way or another with the client, however they feel comfortable, that you find a way to not just express, but release it from your nervous system, your muscular system, everything that's being held in the body in a way that feels safe and comfortable for you. And that will expand over time. Like as you get more comfortable, like let's say you start with the pushing against the wall thing and you don't make any noise, but you're just pushing. But then over time you find like, I think I'm ready to make a little noise. And you just slowly expand your capacity for that discomfort. It becomes more normalized and comfortable for you. Does that answer your question?
It does. It does. It does. And
Yeah.
it's interesting to me that that came up for me. It was like, whoa, okay. It's sort
Yeah.
of it's sort of like when you're in a workshop and all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're going to go into breakout groups, and you go, oh crap, I didn't sign on for that.
Uh-huh.
So it's one of those things where like I need to look at the fact that that was pretty uncomfortable for me. So that must be something, there must be something there for me. I think my other question is just, I love the whole embodiment thing. And I think that is an integral piece. What I'm kind of blocked with right now is getting clear on what it even is that I want to manifest.
Mhm.
I'm really shifting gears. My life is kind of turned around, like about 180 in the last couple years.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm just trying to figure out, I can't even really at this point feel like I can get really clear on what it even is that I want. Um, I'm I've I'm I'm raising my grandson, which I think is
Mm.
unexpected, and he's
Yeah.
and I got him when he was 6 weeks,
Oh
and
my.
so it was a complete change in trajectory for us. We were like nearing actually retirement and kind of what that was going to look like. And all of a sudden our whole life has just changed um, and I've left my work position and I'm raising this beautiful, magical little starseed. He's just something else. And but now I'm kind of going, okay, so now that that's stabilized and he's stabilized and everything's, that's good. I'm like, well, now what's next for me? And I can't even really get my head around it.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I mean, to me, it sounds so much of like what it's like when you're raising a newborn. Um, you're like, who am I? What do I want? And I just want to validate you and your experience of having your life totally unplanned disruption, which is beautiful and everything in so many ways. And what an honor it must be to hold space for this little star seed. And um, So a lot of the times when we have these types of disruptions, there's something there for us, right, to grow into. And so one thing is like right now, it might be a matter of moving through that growth and that lesson, and that it's not so much about like, oh, I want to manifest a certain amount of money or a house or whatever that is. But honestly, one of the best ways to figure out like what it is that you do want is to figure out what's not working for you. It could even be as simple as like, I want a house cleaner. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be these like gigantic $1 million house, whatever, all that stuff that sometimes I think manifestation rhetoric kind of emphasizes. But what do you need support with? Like, how can you be held and supported right now? Maybe those are the manifestations that you're needing to call in right now. The other part of the work that I do with people is really focusing on these like authentic core pieces. So like what you would do is like you focus on like four elements that are the most important for you. So like I'll share mine. Mine is wellness, creativity, um, security, and travel. And so like I have those four things. So I'm always making sure that like I'm focusing on manifesting in those areas and also focusing on like what does that look like for me. Wellness means like taking care of my body and like getting to rest is a big part of my wellness. And I don't know if anyone's into human design, but I'm a projector. So I'm in my pajamas right now doing this workshop and like I don't need to show up like as a certain way. Like I get to be rested and relaxed. That's a huge part of like my authenticity. And so we need to manifest from like the core of who we are. Does that help you at all?
It does. I'm thinking, yeah, because it's not a dollar amount for me. It's more kind of like how am I going to express myself next? Besides as a grandmother, but I don't want to go back to my former life. Um, but I do want work, and I don't know what I want that really to look like or what I needed to, and how that would fit in. So I just
Mm.
wanting to get clear on that because I feel like I have some gifts and some things that I want to express.
Yeah, and
So
so that's where like with that authenticity part where like you said I have some gifts, like maybe writing out your gifts and then being like um you can either sit and try to like meditate on what that what kind of jobs might be related to those gifts, or you can, ask the universe to present those to you. And suddenly, you'll be on your social media or something will come into your life where you're like, oh, wait, you can do that job. I didn't know you could do that, because sometimes you have like a unique gift that doesn't seem like it's employable. And then later you find out, oh, someone else is getting paid. I can remember in one manifestation story learning about some guy that was like, I just want to read books. And then somehow he ended up like for 1 month convincing like 30 of his friends to let him spend the night at their house for 1 month. And then he would tell them about the book. So he read a book every day. And then somehow that led to like another job. And I can't remember what the job is, but you know what I mean? It's like anything is possible. It's crazy.
thank you. I'm
Yeah.
interested. I'm interested in this. So
Oh, that's
um,
great. Yeah.
yeah, I'll contact you further.
That sounds wonderful. Yeah, please do. And I can either I'll put my email in the chat. That's a really great way to get in touch with me. And then Instagram, I'm on there. I don't know. Still free at gmail.com. And so yeah, you can either email me if you want to reserve a spot for that. Um,
Okay.
and or Instagram message me or whatever. And yeah, I'd be honored to hold the space for you and teach you some of these tools and go deeper into your authenticity. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Heather.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's everything for today. And for those watching the replay, if you want to reach out, you can find me on Instagram, like I said. You can also, I'll be sending an email out to the email list. And you can reach me at loveofself3@gmail.com. And yeah, I hope you all have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great day.